What's going on, guys? It's Tony from Paintball, and today we're doing a quick overview and install of the brand new HK Army Deathblade trigger for the Empire Mini GS.
And watch is the best source for Deathblades, aftermarket triggers, and everything totally sick in paintball.
That would be us right here at lomopaintball.com. So HK Army comes out with the Deathblade trigger, an upgraded trigger for your Empire Mini GS. Obviously, these bad boys are one of the most popular beginner speedball guns probably ever in history. Started out with the original invert. Now we're on to the Empire Mini GS. So HK comes out swinging with a Deathblade. I think it's a really nice trigger. Let's go through the colors. 7 different colors. Price point while I'm doing that, $39.95. So you've got red, black, blue, green, gold, silver, and we've got purple. You like that, Mark?
I do. Those are nice.
Because obviously the GS comes in a ton of different colorways and options. So obviously HK is like, might as well make most standard triggers that will, look good with all the different color options. So I think 7 different colors pretty much knocked that out of the park. Some people only come out with like 1 color. Come on, that's kind of boring. So 7 colors. Let's go. Okay, so this GS I have on the table here, Mark, we've got a silver trigger in there.
Yeah, what would you call that style of trigger?
I don't know, dude. I'm going to call it the wave. It's a little wave. It's not a deuce style. It's not a double finger, kind of like what we've got going on here with the new Deathblade. But that, yeah, it's not really a rake or a flat blade. It's got a little curvature to it. So,
you know what I call it?
What would you call it?
Boring. Let's get that thing out of there.
All right, we're going to get it out of here quick. You want me just to show some points inside the box? Can you see that silver one?
I can.
That's the one I'm going to put in there. All right, first off, the entire trigger is made out of aircraft grade aluminum. So that's obviously, you've got, it's a good quality. It's not composite or plastic. You've got a ball bearing that sits right in there. So it's a nice, smooth trigger pull when you put the pin back in. So you got the ball bearing right there in the center. There are 4 different adjustment points on that. You've got a set screw right back here for the micro switch. You've got 1 up top for the return. And you've got 2 down below kind of for a backstop. If you like a looser pull, if you really like to walk the trigger, you can back those out. If you want it really tight up against the frame, you can obviously bury those screws inward. These new triggers do come with the magnetic trigger return. That'll be on that bottom set screw right there. You can see kind of that copper looking piece there. So aircraft grade aluminum, the ball bearings, 4-point adjustment on the actual trigger, and then it is actually milled out completely on the inside. So I'll just take it out of the package for you right now and show you for lightweight. So obviously no one wants to put a big bulky trigger on their marker. So this is what I'm talking about here. It's literally completely milled out there. So they call it, for style, it's skeletonized. So lightweight and style, it does look good. So you guys can kind of see all those features there. Enough of me jabbering on. We're going silver for silver, baby. So first off, I'll set the Deathblade over here, and I'm going to need a 5/64. So I like to take the grips completely off. There's going to be 2 screws, 1 or 2 on each side. So 5/64 Allen wrench is going to get these screws out. I'm going to recommend you guys definitely going to need a punch, which will be looking something like that. And then you would need a hammer or a mallet to actually get the retaining pin that holds the current trigger in. And then you'll need it to get the new one back in as well. So hammer, mallet, punch pin, or a 5/64. So continue taking these grip screws off. Like I said, there's 2 on each side. I like to take them completely off so I'm not distorting the grips and ripping or ruining them. So we'll flip it over here. And why I do that, this trigger pin, which I'll show you, there's only one way in, and that's it, or one way out, however you want to call it, because there is a knurling on one side. So if you guys are a right-handed grip side, if you guys are a right-handed player, you're going to be wanting to take this trigger pin out from the right side. So I pulled the grips off by taking those 4 screws out. So you got the pin that sits right there. And then on this side, you can actually see it's kind of, I don't know how close Mark is zoomed in right now.
Oh, I'll get a super close up.
Okay, so there's a knurling on the pin. One side is smooth, and one side is meant to kind of lock into that body on the GS. So we're going to take it out from, if you're a right-handed guy, on the palm side. So we'll set this down. Let me know if you got a good position, Mark.
I think so.
Okay.
And be careful, guys. I know you're going to be like, oh, I don't have a punch. I'm going to use a small screwdriver or something. Anything with a point or any kind of little edge, you have the possibility it's going to slip and you're going to mar your milling and
100%.
your ano. So you go spend a couple bucks, buy a legit punch with the flat face.
Correct. That's what we got here at the shop. Flat. I mean, yeah, if you really wanted to take the chance of messing up your marker, use a small screwdriver. But like Mark just said, I highly don't recommend that. One slip and you're going to take a chunk out of the body. So I got a flat punch. I'm going to bring out my rubber mallet and we're going to simply, hopefully this goes as planned.
If you have any resistance, make sure you're pushing the right way, because you shove that knurling farther in, it's just going to make it harder to get the pin out.
Exactly. And this is, Mark will get a close up on that, but the one side is flat and then obviously this other side. So here you've got the knurling there and then you've got the actual flat face here. So make sure that knurling is going to go out and you're not jamming that into the body. So definitely be aware of that. All right, we're going to set that off.
And
Mark,
one other thing, make sure you're careful, because if you pop in and out these pins too much, that knurling is biting into the aluminum of the marker body or the frame. You do it too much, you will loosen how tight that thing can be. So, you know, I wouldn't recommend swapping your triggers like once a week for the life of your marker.
No, definitely not. Make sure you like it first. I mean, these are very comfortable. Before I throw this trigger in, I want you guys to note here, this is the stock trigger here. This is the new death blade. There is a back set screw that's going to be here. That's going to activate your micro switch. So make sure that's not completely buried downward, because then you're like, well, my gun doesn't fire. This back set screw needs to be up just enough to activate the micro switch when you put it back into the marker.
Can you tip it just a little bit more so we can see the top of the trigger? Because I'm missing the...
Let's see. Does that work for you?
Or maybe flip them. Like flip them around so the top is towards me.
Oh, okay. So like this?
Yeah.
Okay. So now, can you see
Pin.
what I was talking about? Yeah, this back set screw is going to activate your micro switch that's actually up into the frame of the gun. So if that's too short, it's not going to hit the switch and then your gun won't fire and you'll be wondering why. You got to make sure that's kind of equal to your stock trigger in the actual length of the set screw, which obviously these are all fully adjustable with your 5/64 Allen wrench. All right, so I'm going to set that off to the side. Let me not try to do this upside down. I'll let you get your camera angle better, Mark. So now you're going to be zoomed into this area. So I'm going to throw this sucker right on in here.
So like Tony showed, if you try to match, you'll have a good starting point and then you can make micro adjustments. If you're like, I'm going to take these screws out, you're going to be fighting with them, trying to screw them back in and stuff around the frame.
100%, yeah. So before you put that in, kind of make sure that is equal to the stock length on the trigger that you just took out. Here I am, I got it flipped over now. Trigger looks good, so I'm going to go flat end in, and the knurling is going to be facing me. So let me just make sure I got this lined up and adjusted. Should be able to, oh, I can hear it already. If you guys don't have a pair of flats, not a big deal, just be very careful. I would definitely use like a rubber mallet so you don't gnaw up your body. I grab a pair of flats. What I mean by that is there's no teeth or anything on the inside edge. What won't, squeezing that pin in there to get it set won't gnaw up the actual body of the Empire Mini GS. So I'm going to come in with the flats. Let's find a best angle here. And let me just adjust these.
How come you just didn't tap it back in?
You can. I mean, you can definitely do that, but I like to use these to get a real nice secure fit and make sure it is fully in there. But you can, like I said, if you don't have a pair of flats, it's not the end of the world, you guys. But I like to use these to really make sure it's nice and flush and get that trigger right back into the body.
You could also put a piece of wood in between, guys, so the wood is cushioning.
What Mark means by that, he would set a piece of wood on here and then just...
Yep.
So let's turn this on and see if I got the micro switch right. I did. And I do like this do style trigger compared to, so obviously this is a new death blade I just installed. This is what the previous trigger looked like. So you guys, it's up to you. I mean, for 40 bucks, it's definitely a really nice upgrade. I personally grew up with a do style trigger, trying to walk it back when ramping wasn't a thing. So now you can really get after it. So other than that, I can throw the grips back on and we're going to be done with this. Mark, would you like to know anything else?
One more time, how much do these new triggers cost?
These bad boys retail $39.95, 7 different colors, all aircraft grade aluminum. I like the ball bearing system in there for a nice smooth trigger pull. So it's obviously not just going metal on metal. You actually have the bearing in there.
All right, and then I just want to be clear, because sometimes what they make for the Empire Mini GS works on the axes and that too. This works only on the Mini?
Strictly for the Mini GS. Yep.
Got it.
And they also have a death blade trigger out for, it's called the 1R trigger. You guys will probably be seeing that video soon, but that bad boy fits a ton of different planet eclipse markers. So until next time, I'm going to get this sucker back together. And Mark, where do you think they should pick these triggers up from?
I would head over to lonewolfpaintball.com, of course.
Take it easy, guys. It's the Empire Mini GS with a brand new HK Army Deathblade installed.
See ya.